Once again, everybody, your fighters for your 7th fight tonight, fighting out of the blue corner, Andre Solas. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Edwin Jimenez. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Your referee, Mr. Mike Sims.
Mike Sims, third man in the cage. And look at Andre Solas. Andre Solas has just been making eye contact and bouncing back and forth. And on the other end, cool, calm, and collected, Edwin Jimenez. In that typical Mexican style, Edwin Jimenez is just showing that he's just calm under pressure. And they usually lead with their heart and grit and counterpunch. We'll see what Edwin Jimenez
Never seen a Mexican with a bad chin either.
No, dude, I am a huge fan of Mexican boxing.
Oh.
Big right hand.
Andre's not messing around here.
Big
nice
right hand
shot
by Andre Solas. And Edwin Jimenez is showing pretty good takedown defense. So in essence, we're on the south side of Chicago, 115 Bourbon Street, lovely Marionette Park, and we've got a guy from Milwaukee fighting somebody out of Minnesota. Big left, right. Good exchange between the two of these guys. I know they're well aware of each other. You know, seen footage of each other.
For sure. They actually have been on the same card as each other.
That's good. That's good. Look at the stalking of Jimenez. That is a true, typical Mexican boxing style. Lots and lots of pressure, inside fighting, trying to find the pocket, waiting for windows to walk through. You know, you say he's a typical Mexican fighter. It couldn't be a bigger compliment that you could give anybody.
Andre's looking to land something big, I think, here, Mike, which isn't always the best game plan against a fighter like a Mexican-style fighter.
Jimenez stays tight, stays in the pocket. I mean, and that's where he's at. He's at a Pura Vida gym, so you know his jiu-jitsu is good. And he's just staying in the pocket. You know, that Mexican style of boxing isn't something you really encounter in some of the smaller regions of the United States where there's not a big, like a large Mexican population. Here in the Chicagoland area, we are gifted enough to see it. But once you see it, you always recognize it, and Jimenez absolutely has the attributes of a typical Mexican style coming out of Jalisco. Wow, left, right, coming in with a left,
exchange
right.
hooks there. Jimenez wasn't bothered, neither was Sellers, but
wow, if you look at the wild punches of Sellers, it kind of feeds into Jimenez's style, because Jimenez is going to stay small and tight, and Andre is just going power and a little bit wild when he's throwing those fastballs.
Yeah, definitely, and he hasn't really gotten to a good rhythm yet.
But that pressure has not really allowed Sellers to find his rhythm. Because if you look at Jimenez, he's just in, out, giving feint, in, out, not letting Sellers plant his feet. And look at it, he's chasing him again.
Andre's trying to land something to keep him off, and it's just not easy.
He's going to have to throw at the same time. And when doing that, Jeremy, you better have your punches tight, especially against a typical Mexican style. But we're seeing out of Jimenez.
Nice. He switched to the left, the southpaw stance, landed the left hand.
Superman punch coming from Jimenez. Looking for a little guillotine. Jimenez is, I think he's squeezing, but yeah, you get the 2-on-1 hand positioning by Sellers, and Sellers is on his back. And that is the end of the round. Jeremy, I tell you what, I think the way that round ended, I think Jimenez may have stolen it. I mean, it's kind of close, going back and forth, but the way it ended with Sellers on his back, I think Jimenez may have taken it.
For sure. And we'll see if Andre can make some adjustments. Nick Compton in his corner over there. He's been around boxing and MMA for a long time, fought all over the world.
Yeah, Nick Compton, for sure. Yeah, and you know, on the other end, you got Jake Clip and you got Zach Otto. In regards to MMA lineage and understanding of the game on an international level, you've got two guys in the gym that have been at the highest levels, either in the corners or in the cage. You got two seasoned gyms here, Jeremy.
For sure. And it'll be round one was a close one, but Jimenez probably stole it at the end there. Not much landed from both guys, but Jimenez's pressure was solid, and we'll see what Andre can do in round two to change that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And look at the cool calmness of each guy coming off their stool. It just speaks kind of volumes of who they are as fighters. There's a lot more experience in terms of fortitude of what we're looking at here than there is on their record.
And they're both in great shape too.
Yeah, you got Andre Sellers in the black and white striped shorts, and yellow and black for Edwin Jimenez. Jimenez starting off with pressure again. Pressure. Not letting Sellers, look at this 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch by Jimenez.
Nice leg kick by Jimenez.
Yeah, both these guys look like they're in phenomenal shape, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, neither guy was breathing even a drop heavy after round one.
No, they're both. I mean, they're breathing through their nose. They're bringing their breaths all the way down to the bottom of their belly, and that's incredibly difficult to teach a newer fighter. And both of these guys they've got a world of gym experience. And Edwin Jimenez with the takedown the second time. Second time Edwin Jimenez has found himself in the top position.
You know, Andre's a college wrestler, so we'll see what he can do, how quickly he can get out of this. I don't think he's going to hold down.
You've mentioned him, he's a college wrestler, but I haven't seen, much wrestling out of him up until this point. He's got a lot of confidence in his stand-up. Edwin Jimenez looking for an arm isolation in order to sneak that left hand through. Land a nice solid punch. And I tell you, the pressure by Jimenez is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, you know, both guys are just incredible. Got Andre's right arm tied up there. That could be trouble.
So Edwin Jimenez is using his left knee to pin down the right arm of Andre Sellers, and he is just, I mean, they're little pitter-pat punches, but they're landing.
It looks like he's going to isolate that arm now and try to go for a finish here.
You know, whenever you're dealing with somebody from Pura Vida Jiu-Jitsu, you don't know what you're going to get out of the ground. You don't know. And full mount by Edwin Jimenez, who is raining down punches, and the referee Mike Sims is closely looking at it. Tell you what, that's it. Mike Sims has called the end of the bout. I'm going to tell you what it was, Jeremy. The amount of pressure that Edwin Jimenez has put on Andre Sellers broke him. Andre Sellers is incredibly talented, but he ran out of gas. That right there isn't like power punch, power punch, power punch. It absolutely was not that. It was he had no more cardio.
Well, you know, he doesn't seem like he's too tired to me. He definitely wasn't able to,
wouldn't get off
the ground game.
He couldn't get off. Yeah, he couldn't deal with the pressure. And you know, the amount of respect between the two, and that is not taking away from Andre Sellers. Andre Sellers is a grade A prospect. He just ran into somebody with a gas tank that very few people in that locker room have. I'd like to see Andre Sellers back, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him again. He looked good. We're going to send this one to Mark Nelson. We're going to make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of your 7th fight of the night at 126 at the second round, due to a referee stoppage due to strikes and fighting out of the red corner, Edwin Jimenez.
I'll tell you what, Jeremy, the pressure that Edwin Jimenez had was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, for sure.